Why? So, this book. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this book is amazing. This book is amazingly perfect in every way and shape and form, and it's just so good. And you'll be reading it and you'll be like, why haven't I picked it up? Pick this up, pick this up, because it's so amazing. And if you haven't read it, I don't even know what you're doing, because you need to read it right now. And if you don't know why I'm freaking out, then you should probably go read it. And if you do know why I'm freaking out, then you know why I'm freaking out, because I'm freaking out and I love this book. And it's just so good because the characters develop so good, and then the plot is just amazing. And speaking of plot, I should give you non-book readers a little summary of it before I go on. So there's this plague that comes up, and it, well, kills kids. It kills kids from the ages around 7 to 14. And these kids just die for, it seems like, no reason at all. And when these kids die, people are getting scared and are like, what the heck? But then there are some kids that do survive. And the kids that survive get sent off in these buses, these overflowing buses, to these concentration-like camps, because the kids that survive get these special abilities or powers. So that's all I can tell you if you haven't read this book. So if you haven't, it's Darkest Minds, Alexandra Bracken. Go get it. Go get it. You won't regret it. So if you haven't read it, then you should leave, because I'm going to spoil. I'm going to spoil this so bad, and you are not going to want to be spoiled on this book. So bye, people who haven't read it, and people that have read it, stay right here. Because wow. Okay, I'm gonna get into some spoil stuff. I was actually kind of confused at the beginning of the book, and I don't know if it was just how it was written or how I was reading it and expecting things to happen, but I was kind of confused. I should probably go back and read it, but yeah, it was kind of weird. Sam, I think she had good intentions as a friend, but she kind of pushed too hard and kind of expected too much. And I thought it was, well, strange how she was conveniently brought up by the end of this book, by like the very end of this book. So I don't know what you're thinking, but at the camp, that wasn't the last she'll see her. Ruby as a character, I loved her right away, because I understand, maybe not completely in her situation, but I understand what it's like to be like the afraid friend, like the timid, quiet friend. So I loved her right away. I was interested in why she was quiet and why she didn't talk for almost a year. And her character development made me fall in love with her even more, because in the beginning she was scared and she didn't even say anything. And by the end of this book, she was like kicking ass and controlling people, because she really did get a handle on her abilities, and I thought that was really amazing and really good for her, even though it might cause troubles in the next book. I also love Liam. Obviously, Liam is Liam. He was always sweet to Ruby. He was always like, you okay? You okay? And calling her darling and stuff. He was just really great, and I know he can have a short temper sometimes, but He really is great, and I love him a lot. And him and Ruby are just, every time they like talked or touched or she thought of him, I would just like melt. I was like, oh my gosh. I like how Alexandra Bracken had put Ruby in situations that made her really connect with each person she was traveling with. Like, she had moments with Liam, obviously, and she had moments when she could hang out with the zoo and have girl time and get to talk to her. And then she hung out with Chubbs to get him to trust her. And by the end of this book, they were really close, and I really loved their friendship. I really loved how Chubbs ended up like kicking Chansey's door down. I'll get more into that later. And saving her, because they did become really close. So by her hanging out with each of them, it showed some of their character development as well as Ruby's. That moment when she had to tell the boys, like tell her herself, that she was an orange, it just, I was crying with her. I was really just like, oh my gosh, what did they do not like her anymore? Or they put up even more walls, but they actually were really sweet, and they were like, yeah, what are we supposed to do about this crying girl? And they were really nice. I don't think it brought up more walls. I think it brought them closer together because she could be more honest with them now. And well, she could protect them because she was just like, you were going to walk around and forget it. It was kind of sad how she had to force her abilities, because I know she doesn't like using them, but it was nice to see her actually use them because she has them and she can't keep on trying to be normal when she's not. And so I thought that was a good start to her abilities. Also in the beginning, I didn't really understand what all the colors meant, because how they were looking for the slip kid and they said that he's orange. I didn't really think that was a problem at first, because I was like, okay, orange is another color, but it's not, because orange controls people's minds. And I was like, oh, maybe that is a problem. But I didn't realize that until they were literally right there, like before Mike found them. Yeah, so once I met the slip kid, or Chansey, I hated him. I hated him right away. He was horrible. Chansey, no. And he would be so creepy too, and at one point I thought, wow, this is kind of like a second book, because she was falling for him, and then she like Liam wanted to spend time with him, but maybe it was all along just Chansey putting thoughts in her head, because I was like, no, this can't be happening. This, when he ended up asking her, well, how do you erase people's minds? I was like, oh no, he's gonna erase her mind, or he's gonna erase Liam's. And I was like, no, you can't. So then, to even make that situation worse, after a few days of not talking with Liam, because he was sent off on his job that he had to do, he came up to Ruby and then he was like, hi, have we met before? And I was like, oh my gosh, he really did forget. Chansey did do something. And I was like, no, and that really scared me. I was like, Liam, no. I flipped out. I totally. At camp, when the PSF people came and they started burning everything down, and when they lost Liam, I honestly thought that they were gonna have to find him in the next book, and I was like, I cannot wait for the next book to see Liam again. And I was, so once they were all back together and had a plan, I started wondering, well, what are they gonna do for the rest of the book, because I still had like more than 20 pages left, and I was like, well, what's gonna happen? And I was like, they're all together, happy, nothing more can happen, just end the book right now. And then, of course something happened. Chubbs got shot. Trying to be the sweet little Chubbs he is, just got shot. I knew all along that either Zoo or Chubbs were gonna die, and I was like, when it actually came to the point that Chubbs was going to die, I was like, he can't die. He can't die. Because at this point, Liam and Ruby both need him, and I was like, he can't die. That really got me wondering if he really is at a hospital, or if he really did go to a hospital, if he's even alive, if we even will see him in the next book, because he can't die. He can't die. And when Ruby pressed that panic button, I was like, why did you keep it? Why did you have it? Why? Because, I mean, I guess if Chubbs is alive, that's okay that they helped, but the League is bad, and Liam hates them, and so I just thought that was a really stupid move on Ruby's part. And then I just have to wonder what they're gonna make her do in the next book. And then Martin, is Martin gonna be in there more? Is he gonna be like her co-worker or something? No. And then to top this book off, I always horribly thought that, wow, maybe Ruby will accidentally wipe Liam's mind. So you might understand why I was completely flipping out when she did it on purpose. Like, how could she do that after the story that he just gave her? After all they've been through, how could she just do that? Oh, I'm thinking maybe how Ruby said that there's a small Ruby that Liam still carries with him. That small Ruby might make him remember again. I don't know. I think the Reds are gonna play a bigger part in the next book, maybe, because Clancy did have his army and he's not dead. Oh my gosh, this next book, oh my gosh. And what color would you be? I'm so excited to read the next book. I have it sitting on my shelf. I'm so excited to pick it up. Tell me what you thought about the book, please, because I'd love someone to freak out with. So let me know your thoughts. Subscribe if you want more book reviews, and like this video if you did, and just comment and talk to me about it. Thank you for watching. Bye!